Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vassell.
And I'm Eric Summerer.
Who is here today live with us in the studio. We're doing a Dice Tower retreat this week, and so Eric is retreating.
Yes, I have retreated.
I'm part of a lot of groups where they call these retreats, like in Christian circles, are like, it's not a retreat, it's an advance. And like, just call it a retreat, who cares?
We're hanging out, we're going to play games all weekend. It's going to be fun.
So this is Crowdsurfing Live. Stay tuned. We're going to have a contest we're announcing for a somewhat large Kickstarter over the course of this episode. But before anything else, let's take a look at some Kickstarters that you can find right now. Okay, are you ready to take a look at these?
Yeah, ready.
All right, so let's take a look at, we're going to start here with a very humongous Kickstarter, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood of Venice. You know, I've never played an Assassin's Creed game.
I have not either. It's a very popular video game series. There was a Cryptozoic board game at one point that was Assassin's Creed themed. It was like a very tactical sort of grid-based game.
Yeah, it was okay. I liked it.
I enjoyed it, but I've never played the video game.
Well, these guys are the ones who made V Commandos. I know Sam really likes that. So let's take a look at the miniatures.
Apparently,
because you know it's about miniatures.
Yes, you get a free tower if you back at a certain level.
Well, they didn't call it a dice tower. Is it a dice tower?
I think it's a tower for standing on and jumping off of.
That would make more sense.
It's a very large tower.
Well, this one's ending today. It's going to be, again, it's the problem with these big Kickstarters is it's all about the miniatures, right?
Sure.
So it's hard to tell.
And are these authentic characters from the video games?
Well, they sure look like. I haven't even played the video game, but I know what Assassin's Creed stuff looks like, and those do look really cool.
Right.
Those guys are brutes. These guys are horsemen. How do they?
They are, yes. Well, I like that.
Why is it called a lion? Isn't that a manticore?
The Lion of Venice.
Oh no, manticore has a scorpion's tail. Ooh, tanks. That's a Da Vinci tank, isn't it?
That's Space Mountain is what that is.
That's a Leonardo da Vinci tank is what it is.
I still think it's Space Mountain.
Free. Oh, there's the tower. Are you happy? It's a Kickstarter exclusive.
Yeah, but I mean that's
really
a
huge tower.
It's for figurines to stand on and look dramatic.
How much is the tower? I only ask because I'm thinking about putting one back here behind me.
You just want to back? Is there just a tower level to back it on?
There probably is. Oh, you can get Leonardo da Vinci. I was right. That is his tank.
Fine.
All right, so this one looks interesting. Holy moly, this is a long.
There's a lot of stuff in there.
Is there anyone like talking about the game itself? We know there's great miniatures with 600 expansions. Followers of Romulus. There it is, an optional buy. $39.
Okay.
That's not terrible.
So you could back at the $1 level and then get the tower.
Is there
it's got a platform to stand on. See, there you go.
Is there a Vernon Piper will paint it for you stretch goal? That's what I need.
I don't see that there.
Okay, fine. All right. That's a big thumb. Okay, here's all the previews. Mostly Beast of War, Man vs. Meeple. All right. So cool. Let's go to the next one. Who's she?
This one I know about.
Well, who is she?
Well, it's Guess Who, but rather than just like random people that you're describing them based on their physical attributes, this is Guess Who gameplay, but you're describing what they've done. So it's a whole bunch of women who are known for their literary work or their scientific accomplishments, and it comes with a bunch of descriptive cards to say who all these women are, what they've done, and then you base your questions off of that. So, are you from literature? Yes, no. Are you from the United States? Yes, no. And it's not about what they look like, it's about what they've done.
I really like how this looks. I like that aspect, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not to mention when it comes to looking, sometimes, even with the old Guess Who, I'd be like, do they have big eyes? You're like, well,
right. What's big?
What do you consider big?
Yes. It's also made out of wood, which is kind of interesting. Different construction.
Well, it's doing extremely well here.
Nice.
Lots of... And young artist Daria Goleb. That's cool. I can recognize the people just based on...
Sure.
Like I knew that was Frida just based on the picture there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, you get a scratch-off poster? Scratch-off posters bug me because I just want to scratch them all off.
Well, and then what? Then I guess you have a poster.
Well, you know they make one where you can scratch off where you've been in the world. Anyway, okay,
Right.
So who's she? Next one. Hero Realms Journeys.
More Hero Realms.
Have you played Hero Realms yet?
I've played the base set and the character class starter decks, and I like them both. I backed the last Kickstarter so that I could get the campaign deck. Yeah, I got the campaign. Actually, it was with the Star Realms Kickstarter that I got the campaign deck, but I haven't played the campaign deck.
I have not. I played Hero Realms. I kind of like Star Realms better, but that's more of a preference to space.
Right. No, I like Hero Realms. I like the partnership game of Hero Realms quite a bit.
Well, this is 6 new sets. They come in those packs. Journeys, Ancestry Tier. There's a ton of stuff here.
There's just a bunch of stuff. There's also, I believe, as you scroll down, there is a box to put it all in, much like they did with Star Realms and that giant box. There is a box that will fit all the Hero Realms stuff, which is something that has me tempted. There it is. And it even has 6 foam blocks.
This is like a current trend on Kickstarter and in gaming in general. Here's this cool game. It's really small. You're like, woo, small little game. But eventually it's going to be bigger than Twilight Imperium.
Yeah.
Right.
And yeah, I mean, the Star Realms box is huge.
All right, let's take a look at my pick of the week. Awkward guests. Who murdered Mr. Walton?
Was it you?
No, it wasn't
I bet
me.
it was you.
All right, this has a Dice Tower Seal of Excellence. This game is amazing. I played it. It's a deduction game with some funky-looking Spanish artwork. And you haven't played this. It says my favorite deduction game ever.
No, I believe you talked about it on the podcast, however, which is why it sounds familiar to me.
So good, this game. Because what makes this game interesting is, first of all, there's going to be a different thing, and you build a deck out of these cards at the beginning of the game, and that deck has one solution to it.
Okay.
So the harder it gets, the more cards you need to see, but some of them you could maybe see half the deck and figure out the solution. And so each card, as you can see here, these cards will be showing you different piece of evidence. So if the evidence comes from the police, it's always true. So the police will say, they did not use this weapon, or they didn't use this type of weapon, or whatever.
Okay.
If it comes from a person, it's probably true unless they're the murderer.
All right.
So because the murderer will lie about the different things. So you just get together here, you'll see that they say use these cards in a deck. So you just go through and put those numbered cards in a deck. And as the game goes by, you're trading cards back and forth and looking at them, and you're marking off things they cannot be, like a typical deduction game. But you also have a map of the house here, and on this map, the police might say, no one went between the bathroom and the billiards room. So you can put an X there.
Okay.
And so you slowly are figuring out the path of the murderer, because the murderer has to be able to pick up the murder weapon on the way to the murder.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's so good.
Huh.
They said there's 3,600 different murder cases. And then you can even add an accomplice, which means the one other person is lying on behalf of the murderer. So it's awesome. The game comes with 30 cases, but you can they'll make more available online to download, and I think they're planning on making an app at some people.
Did you see that they actually claim you will never run out of cases to solve?
Well,
That's
it's probably
bold.
Yeah, but you know what? That's the truth of it. So it comes with 30 cases.
Yeah, it's a bold statement, though, that they're making. That's what I'm saying.
No one's laughing. With 30 cases, first of all, almost no one plays a game 30 times.
Yeah.
But let's say you did. By the time you're done, they'll have more online. And they said they were going to make a generator, I think, at some point, too. This game's just fantastic.
Wow. How long is this one still running?
Probably ends tomorrow, I would guess. 46 hours. Close enough.
Okay.
But it's doing really well for a game with no miniatures.
Yeah. I might have to jump in on that one.
That's my pick of the week. Now let's go to the other extreme.
Okay, so this one, as we were scrolling around, I said, what is that? And Tom said, what is that? And apparently, this is that.
I said, how did this company get away with spelling the word game wrong? But we're assuming
they've done other things. So it looks like...
Generations. Have you heard of any of these games?
I have not. It looks like they start out the campaign page as if it was a different game, and then dogs take over the page.
Is that what's happening here?
I think that's, connection lost, insufficient data, and then dogs take over the campaign page.
You can't just spell one word wrong and then I think it's a dog. Right? Like you can't spell every other word right, but you spell the word game wrong. Oh, ha, ha, ha. Oh, in Quick, they spelled KW. Just as a heads up, spelling Quick KW is just as hard as spelling with QUI.
What is dog name blank?
Oh, also apparently dogs speak like cavemen. First pick dog name. My name is Gibbo Gorman, but I go by Gib sometimes. Which is like the first one is first pick dog name, but then he goes, my name is Gibbo Gorman, but I go by Gib sometimes. Pick the name that is best for you. He's like switching between stupid speak and...
Wow, look at those graphics.
All right, who cares about this? Sorry. Let's go back to good
We
stuff.
apologize.
Okay, this one is not funding, and it might not. It's only 50%. 4 days ago, that usually means. But I just like that it's an all-you-can-eat buffet board game.
This is why you chose this project?
It's called Scoffton. That's great.
Okay.
It's like a Euro game. I don't know if you've ever been to a buffet, especially one back in the 90s. Were the buffets different back then?
Maybe they're talking about the gameplays from the 90s.
I don't hate this artwork. This is fine. Well, okay, I don't like the artwork, actually. But the graphic design is fine.
Okay.
Oh, look at Meeple's moving by himself.
Yep.
The service here is terrible. No one complains about the service at a buffet. You're at a buffet. Yeah, okay. It's probably the graphic design that's actually hurting this. It just looks a little
primitive.
amateur.
Yeah.
Too bad, because I love the theme. Yeah, I don't like that artwork.
Line drawing art, yeah.
Oh, well. Maybe with a better art thing. All right, Glyph Chess. Eric picked this game.
Well, it just caught my eye, that's all. It just said it was the Magic board game. I thought maybe it was a Wizards project.
No, they don't own the word magic.
Oh.
It looks like an abstract strategy chess style game.
Sure, with minis and a dice tower.
What? There's dice?
Apparently. What's in the box?
What's in the box,
A
man?
scepter, a necromancer. Oh, these are the different pieces. Elementalist. The art's kind of slick.
The art's better than the... Well, no, the minis are cool, too.
Illusionist ×2.
Summoner. This guy looks like a gargoyle, doesn't it?
It does.
And minions, which apparently if you step on them, you will scream in pain. I like how this is a chessboard. I'm not like the world's foremost chess expert.
That doesn't look like a chessboard.
It is not.
1 dice tower.
Trademark.
4 card sleeves.
Fraction.
Card stands.
Bronze pieces. I like that. Yeah, it looks cool. Oh, hey, Mark Street previewed
Mark Street
it.
did a preview on it.
Oh, cool.
Internal communication.
Yeah, okay. Alrighty. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Let's go to the next one. Dubai Race.
Oh.
Okay, this one's hilarious. It doesn't have a ton of funding, but it's a mix between Monopoly and Jenga.
Oh, that's the winning combination.
That
If
is.
only you could find the right 2 classic board games and put them together.
That's right, throw them together.
That is the key to victory.
I'm going to be playing Operation and Life.
So I thought this was a race, like a racing game in the city of Dubai, but apparently you're supposed to build the tallest
No, you have
buildings
the tallest tower at the end of the game
as
wins.
fast as possible. Oh, they're Tetris pieces though. That's neat.
Yeah, but that board looks blug. I mean, the whole thing looks kind of cool. If I walk by, I'd be like, that is a really cool looking prototype. That is what I would say.
Yeah, it's a really cool looking prototype. Dubai Race playing.
Are we going to find out Mark did this one too? No, but black and white edition.
There you go.
Alrighty. Well, next one. Odd Bods Go Cards.
Whoa.
I believe this is based on
Oddbods is a thing, yeah.
some cartoon.
I think my kids have watched Oddbods at one point.
I actually have a copy of this game around here somewhere. They sent me one.
Really?
Yeah.
Responding to fan demand.
Little Racers. Oh, those are cute little miniatures. You got to admit that.
Yes.
Now for kids 5+. Ooh, this actually has me intrigued. Would my kids like this?
So when they say now for kids 5+, was it higher before? It just said it was like a Little Racers set.
Right, Little Racers, family set, and pro expansion.
Who's playing this game professionally?
You walk in, your kids are playing, you're like, out of my way, amateurs! I will handle this now.
Okay, yeah, so they made a set for younger players.
All those Racer Meeples look awesome, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
This game has a really cool look to it. I don't know if the game is any good or not, but it looks like a game that kids will really enjoy.
It looks like a slick campaign, too. There are lots of animation and flashy graphics and stuff.
Cool. The Tower of Holding.
Relaunch.
It's more than just a dice tower, says the company that makes... Oh, wait, there's like a lock thing on it there.
Is it a puzzle game, too?
Well, that lady looks sad. Oh, it's a counter.
Ah.
Roll with confidence as opposed to the way I normally roll. I normally am like...
And help your team see how much magic is left in you with a spell book. Manage your hit points without the need to erase and rewrite.
Hey, maybe if your experience is just writing down on a piece of paper.
Oh, yes, okay.
It's the danger of just putting whatever video up on the stream that you want.
Come on, without the need to erase and rewrite? Come on. No one is using written things down for like magic anymore. Of course, I guess you're not using... What is this for? Is this for... I do like the double dice tower thing. I don't know what the spell book is for. What is this for? Is this for another game?
No, I think it's just for general role-playing. So you've got your multiple spells and how many instances you have left of it. It's basically a... It's like your character sheet.
I would have to see this one in person. All right, moving on. Neoprene playmats for board games and war games. But when they say war games, they mean miniature games.
Right.
Because if this was for board games and war games, they would have actual boards printed on them. They look cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I see you put the board on top of the mat.
Right.
That's a really bad decision there, that King of Tokyo on top of that. Looks like aluminum siding that they ripped off of the shed.
Those are not coordinated at all. But it's basically like the insert for a gaming table, a neoprene insert.
Sure, but this is a really bad picture because if they're going to be showing this off, I don't want my... Games are already full of colors. I don't need them on top of a mixed thing. It should just be black then.
Right.
As apparently the other side is.
But you can just buy straight up. You can crumple it.
Well, this one looks like it's for a specific game, maybe. Some kind of football game.
Yeah.
That's for war game modular mat. Okay, that's cool. So for miniatures, I get that.
Yep. Or for RPGs, if you were doing role-playing minis.
Modular board game mat, okay.
Vikings at the table? Nope, that's just the style.
Yeah, just
That's not an
a
actual
wooden
game.
table. Punk apocalyptic. It is the ripped-off side of a shed. Fantasy table. These kind of look cool.
Okay.
I don't like that punk apocalyptic. I think they... Details. Yeah, I
And
like...
then different sizes.
I actually like the punk apocalyptic
Oh, here's
one.
the
least.
football.
Fantasy football. They don't want to say Blood Bowl, but that's what it seems like. Skirmish. That's anyone. You know, they make it in squares.
Right.
Coliseum.
Coliseum.
That must be for a specific
But
game.
again, this is like a
Chess. Woo! I want the chess one.
But it's not a circle. That's not a chessboard.
There we go. This is what looks good. Just a few background things to make it look good.
Some texturing.
How much are these, you think?
Dark Giant.
Oh, they're
yeah, 35 €.
That's not too bad. All right. Yay!
Okay, here we go.
I'm excited about this because this is Big City, the 20th. It's 20 years old?
We're old.
All right, so Big City, if you've never played Big City, I think it's Franz Benelong's one of his best games. It is basically a tile placement game. But for some reason, back in the day when they first made it, Queen, was it Queen? No, it was...
no, Goldseeber.
Goldseeber. They filled it with plastic miniatures. And you just put buildings onto this board, and as you placed them, you scored points for putting them in different ways.
Right.
Oh, it was cool.
Yeah.
I liked it. But it was essentially just a tile laying game. And then you ran this little monorail train through the city that could get you extra points.
Little streetcars, you could surround your buildings with it.
There it is, the streetcar miniatures. Woo, that board looks good too. Yep. Okay, there you are. See, residences, you get points, businesses, parks, factories, and then the post office, bank, and church and cinema would get you points as long as you put them next to the right things.
Right. And then there's what, like one city hall or something, and when that gets built, and it scores you no points, but it opens up a bunch of other scoring opportunities once city hall has been built.
Right. These are new, apparently, the school, police station, parking garage, and hospital.
Okay.
So that's cool. Yeah, those buildings look pretty decent.
Yeah, that was a solid game. I let it go.
There's another
many
mat.
years ago.
No, that's not a mat. That's just a modular. Oh, who knows?
That's just like a park. Wow.
Yeah, I want this, man.
Do you still have the original?
Oh, it's too bad. I never, I didn't keep it from back in the day, but
But now it's even prettier than it
there's a
used to be.
secret goal? A secret stretch goal? Is this like a common thing?
Apparently, I've never seen a secret goal before. I mean, other than when they just have stuff shaded out, like we haven't figured it out yet.
That's usually what secret means.
That's what it means.
All right, King's Forge Masterworks from Game Salute. I'm still confused. This is Starling.
That's Starling.
But the original game was Game Salute.
Yes, but I imagine if there is a new printing of the original, it probably says Starling on it now.
I liked King's Forge. I didn't think it was bad. I thought it was okay.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they're still making expansions for it,
I
though.
enjoyed it. I don't know how many expansions there were.
Ooh, these dice are pretty, though.
There are some new exotic dice.
Oh, look at that Heartwood. That's a cool
Heartwood
die.
rainbow dice.
That's a Christmas die.
They grow as a plant. But yeah, I've sort of lost track of how many expansions there are, which ones I have, and
Maybe
which
this
ones
is
I
only
don't.
the second expansion. I don't know.
I think there's been at least 2 before this.
Previous King's Forge expansions have featured new dice, items with abilities, and adding a new row of options.
Well, there we go.
So
That's
it mentions 4
expansions.
different expansions.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, there have been 4. This is the 5th one.
All right, moving on.
Okay.
QE. Oh, yeah, okay.
An auction board game with unlimited money.
We haven't yet looked at this game because this cracks me up. It says, bid as much as you want, $60 or $60 trillion. All right, okay, you go first.
I bid 60 trillion.
I bid 60 Google.
Oh,
Stop
you
that,
win!
baby! There's got to be something else in this
I was
game.
telling Todd, this sounds like the plot of Wreck-It Ralph, or the new Wreck-It Ralph movie, which he
Bid-
hasn't seen yet.
You are spending money to bail out companies. You represent a nation. You get a marker and a blank check. Every time you win a bid, you get a victory point, but there's a catch.
Yeah.
At the end of the game, you'll total up your winning bids. Whoever paid the most total during the game loses. Oh, no! This actually sounds interesting.
Okay. So it's sort of like high society, but instead of a bidding deck, you just...
So I could write 1 million, know I'm going to win, and then hope that maybe in a future one you do 1 billion.
You do something else. Yeah, okay.
I'm going to write down such weird numbers and be like, I think I won, but you can check my score if you want. 1,372,464.36.
Hilarity ensues.
That concept's not awful, and it looks like you're basically just writing down smaller numbers, probably.
Right. Yeah.
Because if you're going to go higher, you have to hope someone else will go higher. Because once you bid 1,000, maybe you win a tile. I might sit there and go, well, you can have that. It sounds like it wouldn't work 2 players, but 3 players it could. Because then
Right.
we would fight back and forth, and you keep underbidding and hoping that time we get so annoyed we go higher. Because you couldn't go too high at the beginning, right? You could never do that super high bid.
Right.
Huh.
Sure. I mean, we knew there was going to be a drawback. To bidding
Okay, so we
super
went into
high.
this to mock, but now I'm intrigued.
Okay.
What other games has he done? Table.
The Duchess table?
Yeah. On Tour, Strategic, Roll and Write, and the Jasper table.
So this is the folks behind BoardGameTables.com?
I don't know, but I'm interested in this one. All right. Ragaroni, Ragusa.
Ragusa.
Or is
That
it
sounds
Rag
familiar.
USA?
It's not Rag USA.
Oh. A Mediterranean city builder. All right.
That sounds familiar. Is this a reprint? Or a new version?
His first game was Downsize, Mind Out, Dead and Breakfast. I never played any of these.
Maybe we've heard this from a Capstone preview or something. I just feel
Is
like I've
Capstone
heard.
doing it with them?
That's what it says. Their logo's on there.
Well, that would make sense then. Sure. All right.
You get to take 3 turns at once.
Wait, I have heard of this. How have I heard of this? Now that you're saying this, I remember this too, because that 3 turns at once thing I remember. Maybe I read the capstone thing about it. All right, looks cool. The only problem with this one is it just looks like a generic theme. All right, for those who like solitaire stuff, Nemo's War, Bold and Caring, and Dramatis Persona expansions. It's a really lengthy expansion.
Dramatis Personae.
Is it Personae?
Yeah. The AE is E.
Got
I've been corrected on it many a time. I always want to say A, but it's E.
So expansion 2 is Bold and Caring. I've never played this, but I know people, because there it is. Dramatis Personae.
Yep.
Got it. The people who have played it, because it's mostly just solitaire. I could play it, but I've heard very, very good things about this one. All right. And last one for today, Roll to the Top, Laminate. And Roll to the Top and Bottom. I think this is hilarious because I just played and reviewed Roll to the Top.
Yeah.
And the first thing I did, laminated it.
So is it really just the same?
No, because they have these other buildings here. So you can see here, in the original game, like this is a country here. In the original game, they had the Eiffel Tower. They had all those, a tree, a pyramid. All these over here are new. So the way the game works is you roll some dice. They're like a 6-sided, an 8-sided, 10-sided, so on.
Right.
And you can add them. You can write down any numbers that are on those dice or any combinations of numbers.
Yes.
You can only use each die once. But when you write a die, well, the equator is not a good one to show. So you put the numbers in the bottom, and then on top of it must be equal to or higher than the numbers below it. So if I roll all these dice, I can write out. I could write out every number, but then I might have a hard time putting ones on top of it.
Right.
I could also write out nothing. This is one of the few roll and writes where you're not required to write something, but the first person to fill their sheet wins.
Okay.
So it's a race. But you can also play Roll to the Bottom, which is the same thing, just now you got to do smaller numbers. Then so special challenges, so you saw the equator starts from the middle and goes.
Right.
This one apparently, I don't know, the different colors are touching. And then I guess also it's laminated. So here, for example, is a example game. See the 1 and the 2.
Yep.
And you'll have dice that get added or subtracted each round.
Yep. Looks like a digital version. It's also
All right.
part of the campaign.
Roll and writes are, hey, he's using my review.
You yourself.
Don't use the first edition markers on laminated sheets. That's good for information. I will take mine out in a moment. Alrighty. Well, that's the basically Kickstarters that caught our eye. Let's keep moving on.
Hey folks, and welcome to another FOMO, the segment where I take a look at a game that's seeking crowdfunding right now, and maybe you have a fear of missing out on it, and well, maybe you do too. Today we're going to do things a little bit different because I don't actually have a prototype that was sent to me, so I decided instead to look at a campaign that I actually have a fear of missing out on. And based on the current backer count, I'm guessing a lot of you do as well. But I thought maybe I would still speak to why I have a fear of missing out on it, and maybe there's some of you who aren't familiar with the game. So a little backstory, I am not a big fan of deck building. It's just not a mechanism that appeals to me in terms of a head-to-head competitive play. So Dominion never really appealed to me, and as such, a game like Star Realms never appealed to me as well. However, a friend convinced me to try Hero Realms, the game that's still built on that Star Realms system, but had something that he knew would appeal to me, and that is the campaign mode. And from the first time I played it, I knew this was something that I really did enjoy. Because yes, it's still deck building, but it also has this RPG element to it that I just really loved. And I loved how we built our own stories, working through this campaign and building our characters up. Well, fast forward today, and there is a new Kickstarter for Hero Realms. This one is going to pick up where the last campaign left off, which was Ruin of Thandar. And so now we're going to be moving into the Lost Village. And this couldn't have come at a better time. My group has really played Hero Realms, the current campaign, to death. And we are anxiously awaiting new content. Well, here it's coming. But this doesn't just add campaign content. This does add a lot of content for those of you who are into the competitive nature and the head-to-head play of it. So you've got new characters and new classes, and the new classes and things I'm really excited about because now we've got over 30 new combinations, and I'm really looking forward to playing as the small folk. So overall, this is a FOMO for me, and I think this could be a FOMO for a lot of people who are already into Hero Realms. Absolutely is, but also if you've never played Hero Realms before, this could be a good one for you as well, because you can go ahead and back this at such a level that you can get everything for it. And for those of you who love Hero Realms, there is so much unlocked exclusive content that you absolutely should be backing this. Now, the only complaint I have about this game really is the fact that White Wizard is conspiring to empty my wallet once again. But overall, this is something I am super excited and I have an absolute fear of missing out on. If you have already checked it out, wonderful. If you haven't, or if you're new to it and haven't played it, like maybe I was when I was resistant to it because of Star Realms, go ahead and check out their Kickstarter page. Now, as I said, this is a little different episode for me. I'm really kind of just gushing over something I have a fear of missing out on. But so in that respect, I'm not going to do any FOMO scores for it. I'm actually kind of glad that I didn't get a prototype because I'm looking forward to exploring the new content with my play group for it. Next episode, I will be back with my normal FOMO segment. We're going to be taking a look at a game that I was anxiously awaiting to hit the back button on, and that is going to be Chai. So I look forward to seeing you folks next episode.
Okay, so now we are going to be talking about briefly Tainted Grail, which was just launched, and you can see the Kickstarter page. It's doing exceedingly well if you look at it. It's almost $1 million already. This is done by the same folks who made Lords of Hellas, which is one of my favorite games from this past year. And they've also done Nemesis. They did This War of Mine, and they did, what's the other? Oh, we can just open it up and look here at them. The Edge Downfall. Their games look fantastic. And so I actually have a book here which shows off some of the artwork here, but we'll put a few of the shots up on the screen for you as time goes by. Their artwork just is, it's like a dark King Arthur and his knight style game. So you're going to be playing characters. It's a cooperative, and you're going through, and apparently these ancient menhirs, they're called, their lights have gone out. So their light is going to let you do this, but you have to keep these guys lit, and you have to discover new ones to open up more land. If you don't, they go out. But you're going through and just kind of having adventures, which coincidentally is what we're talking about in our upcoming podcast.
Yeah.
Adventure games is something I like a lot. Like, I like going through and finding stuff.
Right. Exploration and discovery and puzzles and.
Right. I mean, the game itself, the land was never meant for us. We took it anyway. Now the king is gone and the whole realm is dying again and again. The cycle's broken. There's a price to pay. The weirdness is coming and nothing can stop us. So what they're doing here, we're having a contest for this game. We're announcing the contest today. We'll remind you in Board Game Breakfast. And the contest will end next Crowdsurfing 2 weeks from now. So to enter this contest, you need to go to, you need to send an email to contest@dicetower.com, and the subject heading needs to be Grail. That's Grail.
Yes.
That's the only way to spell Grail, right?
Sure.
Okay. Anyhow, and in there, you need to tell us how many faction decks there are. So you'll have to go check out the Kickstarter page for that purpose. But you can see here, you have the different miniatures. You'll be moving around. You'll be going out and exploring. There's a book of different things to read. I like those books, like This War of Mine.
Okay.
So that has that kind of the story ending thing. So again, the artwork, I want to be this guy. I don't want to.
That guy's, yeah, he doesn't look well.
Scary. Yeah, so again, it's kind of like a darker take on the King Arthur legend. I don't even have to show you the miniatures for me to tell you the miniatures are great, because I just got the Nemesis game, and the miniatures for that game were unbelievably cool. But here, for example, is one of the dudes. This guy is Bjor. He has a big giant axe. Is that Sam?
Yeah.
Is that the axe right there? I feel like it is. The hammer, I mean. Why am I calling it an axe? Ooh, this is like really cool stuff. So there's different models.
Wow.
Yeah. So anyway, check them out. That is Tainted Grail from Awakened Realms.
Hey party people, this is Jeremy from Jambalaya Plays Games, and today we're talking about Ragusa, which is published by Capstone Games and brought to you by Braincrack as well. This is designed by Fabio Lopiano, who also designed Calamala, I believe. And yeah, this is another one of those games with a super smart system. Of course, Capstone Games is known for publishing these types of games, real thinky games. This is on the lighter end. But what are you doing? This is Ragusa, and it's basically a trade place. As you can tell, it's got bordered by water, but you're trying to establish these walls and score points and establish buildings in town and trigger effects on off turns. But it all starts here in the rural area out here. What you're going to do is place houses out here with 1 wood, and when you place them, you're going to trigger multiple areas at once. Every time you place, you're going to trigger 3 areas around it. So in this one, I would trade 1 wood, 2 wood, and then I would also get an olive. If I were to place up here, I would get 1 stone, 1 wood, 2 wood. And as you can see, I've kind of spread myself around over here. Now, what happens when you do gather these resources is they don't actually get spent, they get gained like this. And you just keep going up. You never officially spend them. You just kind of continuously gain them so that you can build more houses out on the outside and you can build more buildings in the city. These right here, these resources up here, the fish you can spend for wilds and things like that. But the olives and the grapes and the silver, what is it called? Silver ore are used to make commodities, which I'll talk about a little bit later. So when you get to the city, this is where the gameplay gets really crazy. And you can do this at any point. You probably want to do it early. When you place a building in any one of these spots, there's certain spots that have like this little clockwise little motion on here. Maybe I can pull in just a little bit more so you can start to see those little icons right here. But what I'll do is I will try to establish my wall. These 2 places you have the wall pieces, and then you also have the arch pieces. And what they're going to try to do is make a continuous area around this thing right here so that you can score points. But when I place this right here, I get to place my arch, but everybody else who has a house around these borders will get to trigger as well. So for example, when I place this here, I'm still going to trigger 1, 2, 3 spots, but I'm also going to allow the people who also have other places there to trigger that as well. So I'll get to place my arch, and I'm just going to place these haphazardly, by the way. So we're going to do this one, and we're going to place that one, and then that, and then green gets to place theirs too, and green will just place it right there, whatever. Then also the winery happens, and that's what happens with these wineries. I take the wine that I had before, and then I will turn that into a multiplier based on how many houses I have here. And the same thing will go for my silver, and the same thing will go for my olives. And what that leads to is over here on my player board, I will start to gather these and turn them into commodities. And those are worth points. And those will be the only things I actually spend for trade that goes on down here at the bottom of the board. So let's say I made myself have 6 oil. I could buy some of these things right here, so I can buy this. But what happens is the market goes down. So then now the market goes down up here. I could sell those for points, but also my market may go down. So then I can move those backwards. Then as I buy from ships, more ships will come in, and that will change the market as well. It's a really neat system. I just really like this game. It's got good ideas in it, has an awesome solo mode in it. Love this game. You actually play against 2 AIs, and they're really smart. They block most of the board and put a lot of pressure on you. And with that is Ragusa, which is on Kickstarter right now. Like I said, it's doing well. And that is my segment, party people. Thank you so much for everybody who came to see me at Plex Plug and gave me positive vibes. I want to thank you so much. I love being on Dice Tower and doing this Crowdsurfing segment. But that ends my segment. Thank you for your time, party people. You have a wonderful day.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about the contest since
You forgot what to tell them what they can win.
Yes. So if you win, you get 2 of the core sets for the game. I'm sorry. 2 winners.
2 winners.
Will get a core set for the game. We will pick those randomly and mention those in our next episode. So to enter, tell me something about the game from the Kickstarter page. Tell me one of the names of the characters. Tell me how many characters are in the game. Something to that effect will get you in. All
okay.
Right. So for thinking today. Oh, I didn't come up with a topic.
You didn't come up with a topic?
I didn't come up with a topic. All right. Let me think. Eric.
Yes.
Today we're going to talk to Eric. as ordinary Kickstarter backer.
Well, hi. Hello.
Just because different people back. Like I back things not quite as frequently maybe as I would have if I wasn't getting them on the back end
Sure.
as a reviewer.
Yeah.
So how often do you back a game?
I back maybe one thing every few months. It really has to jump out for me to want to back it. I've got maybe 3 or 4 campaigns that I'm waiting on right now and following and waiting for the things to deliver. So a few a year.
So you do a few a year. How do you find them? Do you search for them actively, or do you like hear about them in other ways?
I don't search on Kickstarter, so I'll hear about them either from someone that I've already backed a project of theirs, or it's a company that I'm following. I'll hear about the buzz on the game elsewhere on our show, or just talking to other folks. And then seek it out, or I'll see advertisements on Twitter or Facebook, and decide to explore something that looks interesting. But usually not. I don't go to the Kickstarter front page and start searching just willy-nilly.
So when you back something, though, is there like something that gets you to back it? Like, for example, if you know it's going to go to retail, does that change how you back it? Does it miniatures make you back? Okay, we know it's not true.
It's not miniatures. No, miniatures I don't really
care about. Is it a specific theme?
I'm looking for something that's different. If I know it's going to be available in retail in virtually the same form, I will often wait. But if it's something that is small and novel, I will be more likely to grab it. So something that's like in the $15, $25, $30 price point, I'm willing to just say, you know what, that sounds cool, I want to support this. I'm thinking of it a lot more as a support sort of thing. This is a project I want to get behind. This is a creator I want to support. For example, the Parsley games. We've talked about the little pamphlets many a time, and they came out with a hardcover book of all of the Parsley adventures. And I said, yes, I want them to do more of that. I want to support this project. So I immediately backed that one, even though I could probably pick up that book at a convention at some point in the near future. But I wanted to be sure to support that campaign and keep that going.
Do you back mostly games?
Mostly games. I think I had looked through the Parsley game the Video Games Live was the non-gaming project. This is a group that re-records video game music with a full orchestra, and they actually have a concert tour as well that I've never been able to go see. But I enjoy backing those albums and doing that. But mostly games.
I haven't seen most people's tours.
That's true.
So anyway, okay. So what's the best Kickstarter that you were like when you came in? You were like, this was so worth it.
Ooh. I mean, the one that I'm thinking of right now is Fireball Island, although I feel like I paid for that. I don't think it was like, ooh, I backed this, and then it was just a cornucopia of riches. I don't know.
Okay, is there any Kickstarter that you didn't get? Have you backed any stinkers?
I have backed, there's a video game that I backed called Two Guys from Andromeda Space Venture. This is a classic point-and-click adventure game. They'd made Space Quest. It's the two guys from Andromeda that made Space Quest, the old Sierra Online adventure. They got back together, and they did this campaign, has to be like 5 or 6 years ago. And I backed it for, I think it was $20 or $30, knowing I'd get a free copy of the game, or pay for my copy of the game, and the thing has not finished. I still think it will happen, but I'm afraid that by the time they finish, that the technology will be in another generation of tech by the time they finish this game. So who knows if it'll still be a good game at all. I'm really worried about what state the game will be in when we finally see something.
Yeah, I have a video game I backed that I don't remember what it's called. It was like made by the guys who made Final Fantasy Tactics. And I was like, woo.
Yeah.
I still haven't got that game.
No.
Well, whatever. To me, my opinion with Kickstarter is I won't back anything if I can't afford to lose that money.
That's true. I tend not to do the all-in pledges, like the Apocrypha adventure card game. The sort of follow-up was actually developed before the Pathfinder card game, but it was released after. I didn't know if I was going to like that game. the Kickstarter let me back for the base box and then like 2 other full boxes worth of content. I have no idea if I'm going to like that game. And I'm still not sure what I think of that game because I played through the first intro scenario and said, interesting, I'll get back to that later, and have not gotten any farther. So I'm glad I didn't back more. So I'm more likely to go for what's the base box, what is the primary product here, and back that as opposed to the all-in play.
But you don't have the fear of missing out sometimes if you miss that Kickstarter exclusive content?
I can live without some of that exclusive content.
That's right.
I can. It's like the Conan thing with like an entire second box worth of stuff. Am I ever going to get to that? Am I ever going to work through the material that is
Also,
in the
as a heads
base
up,
box?
they don't even have most of that stuff. You have to like add it yourself anyway. There's like not scenarios that use all.
Right.
You
Yes,
have to
they had the figures, but nothing that actually.
You have to like just put them
incorporated
in and see if
Yeah.
it works.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's a little bit about Eric and his Kickstarting thing. Let's now go to the master of Kickstarter himself, Mr. Jamie.
Hi, this is Jamie from Stonemeyer Games, and today I'm here to talk a little bit about customer service as it applies to Kickstarter. Specifically in terms of a customer being frustrated or angry or disappointed, and expressing that in the form of a comment or a message. I have 5 steps I'm going to mention, 5 quick steps, things to keep in mind, things to do when this happens. The first thing to keep in mind, in my opinion, is that the customer is not always right. That's a common phrase that we've heard. The customer is always right, but the customer really isn't always right. Sometimes the customer is flat out wrong. And so I've evolved over time to think of that as the customer is always respected. But even that isn't always true, because sometimes the customer comes to you in a completely disrespectful way. It doesn't mean that you need to echo that attitude back towards them. But rather than think of it in terms of respect, I've come to think of it in terms of being fair. When a customer comes to you and they're angry about something or frustrated, try to put yourself in the mindset of what is fair to everyone involved in this situation, me and the customer. Putting the customer first, but not neglecting your own needs as a human, especially if the customer is truly attacking you. Second, a question that I've come to ask that I think works really, really well is, how can I make this experience better for you? That puts the impetus on the customer. It shows them that you're thinking about them and their needs, and you're asking them to come up with a solution. If your Kickstarter is live, this might be very different than after they've received the Kickstarter version of the game. But it kind of puts the ball in their court, so they can figure out how you can make the experience better for them. And they might respond with something outlandish that you cannot do, but that's okay. They put it out there, they said it, and you can say no, maybe no, but I can do this for you. 3, if it is a situation where you made a mistake, I highly recommend saying, I'm sorry. Specifically those words, I'm sorry. I've used this many times. I've apologized for many, many things to my customers. And sometimes I've neglected to apologize as well. But the key is that you're not saying, I apologize. You're not saying, and you're saying, I'm sorry for something that I did, rather than, I'm sorry that you feel bad. That's taking the ownership away from yourself. And as part of this is step 4, which is to actually take responsibility for anything and everything. You are the hub. If you are a Kickstarter creator, you are the hub of everything extending from your project. Even things that don't feel like part of your control, like if a boat gets stuck up at port, if the manufacturer makes a mistake, if your fulfillment center makes a mistake, all those things are responsibilities that you could push off on those other people, and to a certain extent, it's fair to do so. But I found that the more that I say, I take responsibility for this mistake, the more I realize that I could have done things to have more control over those mistakes, quality control, better vetting for fulfillment centers. So I highly recommend saying that phrase and meaning it, and then taking more ownership over the things that you have control of, and realizing just how much you have control of. And finally, I highly recommend building your empathy, empathizing with the customer. And one way that I found works really well for me, because I struggle with empathy sometimes, is to say, I'd be frustrated too if, and then say what happened to the customer. I'd be frustrated too if my game came without a deck of cards. By empathizing with the customer and showing them that you can put yourself in their shoes and see how they feel, that creates a connection between you and the customer, and it sets a stage for resolution. These are the 5 steps I recommend when a customer comes to you angry or frustrated. And I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments and your questions, either on my blog under the customer service section of my Kickstarter lessons or in the comments below. Thanks.
Hey, board gamers, BJ from Board Game Gumbo here, back with another episode of Crowdsurfing Lanyap. That's right, I'm bringing you projects that won't break your budget, but throw in a little something extra. Here's what I'm checking out this week. How many times has someone said, just take your turn? This board game isn't rocket science. Well, what if your next board game experience actually was all about rocket science? Hey, that's the goal of Downlink, the game of planetary discovery from Extronaut Games. Dr. Dante Loretta, who just happens to be leading a NASA mission to conduct scientific experiments on an asteroid named Bennu, has designed a cool game that incorporates real-world science and point-scoring Euromechanics. Downlink accommodates 2 to 6 players and takes about an hour to 2 hours depending on the player count. Each player will take their player boards and colored resources. The players will use the resources and cards they purchase from a central market to launch rockets from launch sites around the globe to various solar system bodies like Jupiter and Pluto to score points and make scientific discoveries. You can beef up your missions with orbiters and landers and rovers, and that's the way to really score the points. Just be careful to manage your resources wisely as your supply is limited. Hey, the game's going to play in 3 phases. Phase 1, trading cards, making sure you grab the cards that you need. These are multi-use cards, so strategically picking the right use of the cards is critical. Then phase 2, performing your actions, and there's lots of different ones. Your strategy each turn is going to drive your choices. Here's your chance to build a rocket or add to the existing rockets with extra modules. And then we move right to phase 3, making discoveries. That's when you use the downlink cards in your hand to downlink the data, make those scientific discoveries. And when you complete those, you're going to add the points indicated on the card. The last phase, draw back up to 6 cards, and then it's the next research scientist's turns. It looks like Downlink not only has real-world science and fun gameplay, but also check out the cool artwork in the game. And don't forget that Lanyap, your base pledge of $39 not only gets you a copy of the game, but you also get a Downlink mission patch. I used to collect the set patches from the Space Shuttle mission as a teen, so it was neat to see that Dr. Loretta included the same option in here. The base level pledge is only $39 plus shipping, and there's even more Lanyap, like commemorative coins you can get at certain pledge levels. So that's Downlink, the game of planetary discovery. I'm intrigued. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. And until next time, laissez le bon temps rouler.
Okay, so just to clarify one more time, if you'd like to enter the contest for Tainted Grail from Awakened Realms, all you have to do is email us at contest@dicetower.com. Put the word Grail as your subject heading. Tell us anything about the game in the subject that you can find out from the website. The more information, maybe you'll have a better chance of winning. 2 people will be picked from all those entries that come in. We'll announce it next Crowdsurfing, which is 2 weeks from now. And that anyone in the world can enter. I think I've got all the... Oh, if you win, you get a core box of the game.
Right, and there are 2 winners.
There are 2 winners. All right. So before we end here, if you have any quick questions for me, or especially Eric, because he's never on this show.
Especially.
The Eric who plays them.
So while we're waiting for questions, we discovered that I win in the old projects that we backed and have not seen the results of. My Space Venture project ended in June of 2012, and I have yet to see that project.
Which is almost, that's 6, it's coming up on 6 years.
It's over 6 years.
Over 6 years, 6.5 years. Mine was January 2014. Okay. So that's about 5 years.
So I win.
But I've written mine off.
I'm still holding out hope. There was an update in 2018, I think in August.
Well, I had an update apparently this week, but they just the update was like, we're working on this part of the game and we decided it's not working, so we're trashing it and starting over.
No,
it's like,
no. They're doing the voiceover work right now on mine. So they got Rob Paulson from Animaniacs. That's pretty slick. And Maurice LaMarche. Anyway,
Are you going to Engelstein's again this year?
I am going to Engelstein's this year. Yes, Jeff does. He's incredibly generous. He and his family open up their home and just have
To
a ridiculous.
everyone.
That's almost. It's like as long as you've contacted them and get an invite. I think they do a party, and my family drives down from Connecticut to hang out with the Engelsteins for a while.
What's your impressions of the headquarters?
It's neat. I like seeing all the studios and all the designs and pictures and art all over the place. It's pretty slick.
Oh, that's right. You're on the wall.
I am on the wall. I get to. So I feel like I'm here, or that I've been here, because Tom's usually standing next to me. I feel like we're having a conversation, even though I'm flat and don't move.
Well, there's a joke in there somewhere. Did you pack properly for Florida?
I think so, although I didn't pack shorts.
Carry-on is all. You didn't pack shorts?
No. Because it's the transition. Like traveling back home, I brought a bunch of T-shirts, but I didn't bring shorts.
Swimming trunks?
I didn't do that. I wasn't planning to
You're
go
going to be
swimming.
playing games.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. What do you think of Stonemeyer's concept of probably no more Kickstarters, but does pre-orders and champions get the game first? Okay, so Jamie Stegmaier is no longer doing Kickstarter.
Okay.
But he's doing pre-orders on his website, and they get the game first.
All right.
In my mind, that's almost the same thing, because anyone who says Kickstarter is not a store is just kidding themselves at this point. I mean, it is a way to raise money for a lot of different projects.
Right.
But for board gaming, it is almost a store pre-order system. In fact, Monolith just flat out did that with the Claustrophobia. Like, we already have the game printed. Support us, and you get it.
And you get it. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, how much prep work do you do? There's already a pretty significant amount of investment before the Kickstarter if you want to do well in the Kickstarter.
Will there be a math trade or similar at Dice Tower West? That is, if someone runs one, so be it. I'm not running anything officially.
Right.
What do you think of the catch-22 with new Kickstarters where you need great artwork to be successful, but you need the Kickstarter money to finance the artwork?
Right.
Nah, you better get the artwork first, or at least some of it.
Like I just said, you need that investment. You need to spend a lot of money before the campaign even begins. If you're just starting from zero, just here's my idea and some sketches, it just isn't going to get the attention necessary to raise the money you need.
Are we excited for Dice Tower Con 2019? Sure.
Yes, but there are several things between now and then.
Pandemic's missing from the Dice Tower library, and you have a retreat this weekend. There's no pandemic. No, but we have like some variants of pandemic in the library, I think.
So just standard pandemic isn't in the library?
Actually, I'm not sure if we have any of the pandemics. Because they're all, like, I have pandemic.
Yeah.
But I didn't put my copy in the library because it's everything, and it's a little messed up, so we have to sort it out first.
Right.
It's, all the expansions. It doesn't fit They never made a good box for Pandemic.
Actually, the Broken Token one's good.
Well, they didn't make one.
Oh, you mean that Z-Man never made a good box for
I can't afford all these
Pandemic.
Broken Token boxes. They're really expensive.
I didn't know who they was, so yes, you're right. Absolutely. Z and I were actually talking earlier about how the release date for the new Fall of Rome is supposed to be tomorrow, and we might try and sneak out and grab copies if that's actually true. So we need scouts.
I
don't.
Anyway, we'll talk about that later. So, yes, what was I? Wow, I had something in my head, and it flew out. Anyway, so that's what's happening with Pandemic. All right. Okay, so I said faction decks earlier. I was incorrect. Tell me anything about the Kickstarter, and you can enter. Will you be doing any sightseeing before you leave? You've been down here before. We didn't do sightseeing then either.
We didn't, no. The only time I've been in Homestead was for the 24-hour thing. I flew in, we did the thing, I fell asleep in your house, and then it was time to leave.
Here's what I'll do. If I have time, I'll take Eric to Robert is here, so we can get a. Oh no, I can't take you there.
We went to some barbecue place that was really good. I remember that.
That is good. Yes.
But it was a bit of a whirlwind, and I'm here for a little longer this time, which is good.
Alrighty, well, that's it for today. We need to end this because it's almost 2 o'clock, and we need to get ready for Dice Tower Retreat. So thanks for watching Crowdsurfing. Thanks to all the contributors. Don't forget to enter the contest. Details were announced multiple times throughout the episode.
Multiple times.
Until next time, I'm Tom Basil.
And for this time, I'm Eric Summerer.
That's true. You can't say that. All right. And you've been watching Crowdsurfing.